broadcasting from across the North American continent of the Terran Empire, bringing you our unpopular Star Trek opinions since 2020. This is Code 47.
Oh my gosh, we're back. Code 47 podcast on the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. It wasn't that funny.
No, Lexi looked right at you when you did that.
Oh God, I didn't.
She was like,
I didn't know that.
She like this, like
I didn't know she could hear me, and I used a bad language word, so now I feel terrible. So I guess we'll be better about that. So sorry, Lexi. We do have a special guest star, but we'll talk about it in a minute. But I want to top this off by first introducing myself. If you're a first-time listener, Charlie Carden here, Trek Lord of West Michigan, captain of the USS Grand Petoskey, a chapter of the Star Trek International Fan Club, and we are back for episode 46 after having taken a week off due to schedule jams for all three of us, not the least of which was myself now living out of state during the week, doing training for a new job, which I'm just excited to have a new job. I was unemployed for 9 months. It was totally hellacious, so I'm back in the world. But yeah, I'm joined as always by Lieutenant Commander Erin, my transporter split, kind of like a Jeff Goldblum fly thing happening. Richard Erin, who are joining me as always. So guys, how are you?
I'm good. I think Rich needs a promotion to commander.
He just got a promotion to full lieutenant, so I don't want to be that guy who's just
who's
just giving away promotions like lunch. He's going to get there. He's going to get there. Plus, you'll be VRC next year, so you'll be captain. So I can't race him up too fast. That would be irresponsible. On some ships, people don't get promoted like ever, but we don't need to talk about that. So,
you mean like the Voyager?
No, I was thinking more in SFI, but as I said, I digest. So yeah, we're back, and what we were intending to do, this is episode 46, as I mentioned, what we were intending to do is start talking about the return of Lower Decks last week, but as a result, we are going to talk about episodes 1 and 2, and I'm very excited. This was very on the fly. We have, and Erin, I'll let you handle the introductions, a very special guest commentator / note giver to give a little perspective. That would be Lex, who is your daughter. Please introduce.
Hi, this is Lex. She will be joining us when we cover the second Prodigy episode. Reason being, it's no secret, I'm not that into animated things. I don't have a lot positive that I can contribute. And instead of me just being like, I don't get it, it's stupid, here's an expert on things. When she can't join us, she's still going to watch the episode, and I'll go by her notes.
Nice. Awesome. I love it. I think this was inspired. Erin and I were talking about an hour ago. I'm like, I don't want you to feel like this is a slog for you or it's a real bummer. And we brainstormed a little bit. And she ended up throwing this idea out there, and I thought it was a great one. So big thumbs up. By the way, sharp-eared listeners might have caught that Erin said it was the second episode of Prodigy. Star Trek Prodigy has not come out yet. We're talking we're talking about Lower Decks. So anyway,
cartoons were the same to me.
I know it's all animated. So anyway, so let's jump right in. Lower Decks returned a week before last for season 2 with episode The First, Strange New Energies. And I realized that following in Rich's footsteps, I do not have this link open. So I'm going to go ahead and let one of you guys start talking about the summary instead of me. So Rich, go ahead.
What, the summary?
Yeah, just a real quick summary of episode 1 so we can start talking about it.
Sci-fi stuff happens.
Oh, God, very helpful.
If we're doing it this way, I have one too.
Please, go ahead.
Cartoony things happened.
Oh my God, this is.
And then there was this big head thing, and then somebody got kicked in the balls, and I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's great.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened. The Mariner, the main character, who I'm guessing, I'm just going to call her the main character. I know there's other characters.
Understood.
She's on a planet with the dude who is the first officer of the Cerritos, and he gets god powers because she power washes a building.
Right.
I'm not joking.
It's true.
He gets god powers because she power washes a building, and then he goes all Gary Mitchell on them. He turns into a floating head at one point and attacks the Cerritos and is only foiled by Mariner kicking him in the sack like 16 times.
Okay, so this may be a hard turn for you. I did not enjoy this episode because
good. Okay.
The way you just described it, I'm like, That's even dumber than I thought it was. My big complaint was at the
Okay,
end of it.
so it was
They
legit just dumb,
Yeah.
right?
well,
I wasn't wrong in watching this. Like, oh my god, this is horrible. It was actually bad.
I mean, there's no wrong. There's no wrong or right on this show. I want to go on record, backwards and forwards, whatever we talk about, opinions. I'm a very strong.
You said
Will
opinions like it was Irish.
yeah,
O apostrophe opinion.
apostrophe opinions. We just found a name for this episode. Apostrophe opinions. Nailed it. Good work, Erin. But anyway, I am you will always hear me rally against what I refer to as militant fanboyism. Somebody who comes on and says, this is my opinion. If you don't like it, you're a moron. This is my opinion.
God, that's how I feel, though.
Yeah, dude, you're like insulting us. What do you?
You know what? This is the hill I will die on. So don't. You know what? I'm like Freddie Mercury right now. Don't stop me now because I'm on a roll. No, I won't. All opinions are valid in this context, not in the context of other things we talk about, like, the vaccine is going to give you a chips and the lizard gods are coming. That's not a valid opinion.
I saw the lizard god, like in a picture. It was in Japan. It came out of one of their rivers.
Okay, and
A lot of people were captioning that it was Janeway. You haven't seen this?
I have seen it. Did was it because of the vaccine? Never mind. Let's not touch that. But anyway,
can I just interject something here? I think
do.
that a lizard god would do way better than what we've done so far. So I mean,
there is
lizard god.
Absolutely no way to debate that in the contrary. So you are correct. But at any rate, yeah, I have enjoyed this show. But this was not a great segment. Yeah, it was just it was too ridiculous. I mean, the fact of the matter is they stop him in the end by dropping a boulder on him, which should have killed him because that's what killed Gary Mitchell. But 5 minutes later, he's in the sickbay with the cat doctor, and she has completely healed him. That's for some reason that's kind of a bridge too far for me. And we were watching it again this morning, and as she's power washing a building, and she uncovers the magic eye that gives him god powers, I'm like, why was that a thing? That was a thing. That seemed very unthing. That was too far for me. My suspension of disbelief, even with Star Trek ships flying through space and warp speed or whatever it is, if she power washed an eye and then it was like the staff of Ra, the sun hit it and it gave him god powers. Why wasn't that in like the travel guide for this planet? You know what I'm saying? That makes that just there's like goofy weird stuff, and it even says right here. In the review, I've been using Den of Geek. I use these for this, and I also use these when we were doing the Bad Batch over on Holocron Chronicles, or the podcast. Ransom is, of all the people playing God this episode, Ransom is being himself. He's imbued with sci-fi stuff, which is, I think that's exactly what Dr. Tana is, the cat doctor. Sorry. I just like to call her. I just think of that scene of her in the first season with Mariner looks at her and says, "Why do cats like to eat nachos?" That's all she is to me. A cat eating nachos. So yeah, dumb episode. Don't really feel like they worked much out. I was kind of bummed at the end seeing Riker, but not Troy. Troy was also not in the second episode, which I think was kind of a bummer. So yeah, I'm and as I said, might surprise you, but I'm kind of thumbs down on this episode. I think it was kind of dumb and irrelevant. Didn't really move anything forward.
Let's flush it down the toilet.
And moving on to episode 2, Erin, I'm going to have you kick this off with the notes of your special note goer, or put her on. Please put her on. We'll even watch our language or whatever.
All right, put that down. Or you can sit on my lap.
This is a first. We have never had a child commentator on any of our shows, so I'm totally down.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Please. Lexi, hello. Oh, she can't hear us. Hello, Lexi. I'm Charlie. This is Rich.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you? So hit us with it. What did you think of episode 2 of Lower Decks?
You want me to bring up your notes?
Yes.
Okay, here's your notes. All right.
Coral Head.
Yeah. Explain where you came up with Coral Head.
Because the Darmok kind of looked like his head was made out of coral.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
And then what's next?
What if they turn a Coral Head into a puppet?
That I thought was okay. I kind of like that.
Okay. What about this one?
Why are there so many captains and so few yellow shirts?
There's too many ensigns.
Valid question. That's a valid question.
There's way too many ensigns in the show, I think.
Okay, what about this one?
Birdman is so stupid.
Was Birdman was that the counselor?
Yeah. He's the
Okay.
psychologist.
Yeah, it's voiced by Paul F. Tompkins, who actually does the Pod Directed podcast with Tawny Newsome, who is Mariner, which is actually it's very enjoyable.
Okay, and finally,
Boimer has a hair like mommy's.
Nice. I like it. That is correct.
all right. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lexi.
Those were all super cool talking points. Oh, one thing I forgot to throw out in relation to episode 1, the guy on the planet that they were on that, gave ransom to God Pirates that he was talking to, that was voiced by Randall Park. I had to look it up. Randall Park, who is Jimmy Woo in the MCU and other stuff.
Oh.
Random fact. Okay, so back to episode 2. Erin, since we got the notes of your constituent and you're still on a roll, what were your thoughts?
I agree with all of her comments.
To-
Those
total-
are also my comments.
Totally valid comments.
Honestly, I heard a lot of good things about this episode the day it came out. Everybody's saying it's probably the best episode of Lower Decks of all time, which isn't a very long time because they've only had one season.
Yeah.
Right.
With that said, I thought it was just the idea was, hey, let's make a mismatch of as many Star Trek episodes as we can and throw it together and people will eat it up. And I didn't.
This one
I thought it
came off
was I thought it was uncreative.
I can't necessarily disagree so far. I didn't think anything really jumped out at me.
And
I'm sorry.
That's all. That's it.
You're right. There were parts of, you're right. A lot of it was kind of put stuff in a blender and let it roll. And really the whole plot line of the episode emphasized that because the mission of the Cerritos is they were helping out the Collectors Guild, which did come from an episode of TNG. There was that dude who kidnapped Data to add. He was like the collector of Star Trek, kidnapped Data.
I was under the impression that he stole or he inherited that guy's collection, and that's why that's the guy that comes alive in the painting and attacks them.
Was that the same guy? If that's the case, I totally missed it. Because at the end, that guy got arrested and his collection got liquidated. So I didn't think it was the same guy.
Because it's not a guy, it's his painting.
Well, I know, but I mean the guy before he died.
It's like in that episode of Deep Space Nine where they're like, you have done something to the Cardassian network, and then they're all, miners, please get back to work. It's
the civil defense, the one where they tripped
it's just like an automated defense system. He's
right.
like, he even says, if you're seeing this, that means I have died.
Right, exactly. It was as Gul Dukat says, Bajoran workers, you're
Right.
revolting, and if you don't knock it off, we're going to blow you up or whatever. I didn't really think that actor was Kivas Fajo was the name of the character, was played by actor Sal Rubiniak, who's been in a ton of great stuff over the years. But I seriously remember that at the end, the Enterprise catches him. He's in the brig, and Data says, "Yeah, your stuff is all being liquidated, and you're going to jail. So deuces, bitch." And he's out. So I never really thought of him coming back.
But somebody
still,
probably stole it or whatever. I mean, they don't have to explain it. Like I said, they didn't put any creative thought into this episode. They just mixed a bunch of crap together.
They did, and it's true that this series has a habit of kind of doing that. But I'm kind of with you that both of these episodes were kind of relayed a little too heavy on not really having a plot and just taken like it was the stew. That's another good one. The opinions of stew, the O apostrophe opinions of Star Trek stew. Do we like it? We'll keep workshopping it. I like it. But yeah, I agree. I think and again, having the Pac-Leds is like the series villain. It's like the Pac-Leds totally suck. It's like they're picking on the developmentally disabled because that's what the Pac-Leds are, and they're supposed to be badasses. It was the same reason I think that the Ferengi were never a serious villain after their like second or third appearance, because it was determined, all the Ferengi want is gold press latinum, and you can get that out of a replicator, so they're not scary. It's like the Pac-Leds are not scary, and they're not badasses. So that's what I'm annoyed by that too. You guys are kind of turning the tide on me. I'm not really digging on this season so far. I'm enjoying Marvel's What If a lot more, which I'll be talking about on Secret Friends this week. But
okay, well, let's talk about what other episodes they ripped off. How about the one
Yeah.
with the transporter accident? How about
Absolutely.
the one where Deanna Troy's like play Nightbird? Like,
that's the same episode. But
oh, is
yes,
it?
yeah, it is. But yeah, I had said to you guys like, hey, how about all the Easter eggs or whatever? I found 2, but I'm sure there's a million. And Rich, I mentioned this one in particular because it's salient to our hatred of Star Trek the animated series. There was the bones of the giant Spock from the Infinite
Mhm.
Vulcan.
Yeah, I did see that.
And then I did catch they used the bones of the Excalibur, which was the rock creature that Kirk McCoy and Serac and then Abraham Lincoln and a bunch of other guys were like historical figures were on a planet having to fight each other to the death. Those are the 2 that I caught, but I know there's like 50 billion. But those are the 2 that I caught.
Here's the problem that I'm having with this series, especially starting with this season, is they have leaned way, way, way the hell into this Seth MacFarlane-esque Family Guy in space thing, and that doesn't work for me. It worked for me 15 years ago, maybe, but
Yeah, I'm with
I'm
you.
not that guy anymore.
And you
I
know my theory how we could fix this.
Right.
How's that? Right. How? Tell
It's
me
very,
again.
I'll tell you in chat, it's very offensive.
Oh, very okay. You know what? I appreciate that we're trying. While we're not trying to really censor ourselves, we are working on some variety of decorum. That will make Todd very happy if we don't drop all the f bombs. But fuckity fuck. There, I just dropped a bunch. Lex isn't still listening, is she? Okay, good. All right, so
Good thing you checked about that after you said it. So
yeah, I know. Yes, shoot first and ask questions later.
You're an
So
afterthought. Nobody
yes.
cares. I'm
Oh,
just kidding, honey.
That's ouch. That's not very nice, damn. But at any rate, which is why my name for Erin in chat is not so good with emotions. So anyway, our analysis of Lower Deck season 2 so far is that they have got a way to go to get us back. So let's see if they can do it.
they're not doing anything original. They're doing the same stuff that Family Guy has done for 15 years. And
It's
the thing about that is it plays to the masses, the people that aren't necessarily huge Star Trek fans.
right.
They that don't necessarily like have a reverence for it at all. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not
Well,
saying
I
like
hear
in a
ya.
healthy reverence.
maybe next episode we'll get an Erin Neville megaphone.
There you go. Yeah,
now
maybe.
Now that would certainly please me. That would be absolutely delightful. So, all right, well, let's wrap this up and let's move on to something that we're all a little bit more excited about. So, in our last episode, we did debut and we dedicated the entire episode to it because it was a two-part. It was a two-part story that we were talking about. But the second segment of our ongoing show is going to be called Infinite Diversity, where we are going to tackle an episode of Star Trek that we have selected to have some social commentary relevance. So I think this was a pick. Erin, did you pick this one?
I think Rich did.
Oh,
Or did
okay.
I?
Well,
No, I think it was you. I think it was you,
okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, that being the case, Erin, it's your show. Go for it.
Great.
Great.
So critical care. I don't have a synopsis up to read for it.
Oh, I stuck
You
it in the
got one.
flow. I gave you
I
a
see it.
paragraph. Yeah.
Right, it says the doctor's program is taken from Voyager and he is put to work on a vast hospital ship where the twisted medical system is based on social status rather than medical condition.
Oof. Yikes.
Yeah, I mean that's it in a nutshell. And honestly, it kind of reminded me of like a caste system in a way because the impression that I get from just the doctor's conversations in like the bowels of the hospital where people of like low status are they have no way to better themselves. They have no way to get out of that situation so that they
Mm-hmm.
can have more status, and it's a
Mhm.
lot like a caste system. If your
Right.
dad's a rat catcher, you're a rat catcher.
Ooh, good reference to the Suicide Squad.
Or if
That
you're
that
dead.
that wasn't intentional. I've never seen
I
the
know.
Suicide Squad.
Well, it's just that was one of the characters in the movie that just came out, so it was very topical unintentionally, and I appreciate that.
Good.
So this is, I mean, to your point, I mean, even now you could even overlay this on like America as of right now. If your dad's
Totally.
a farmer, you're a farmer. If your mom's a farmer, you're a farmer. I mean, it's
Right.
I don't know.
you can.
My mother's best friend and her husband are farmers. Their parents were farmers. Their son is a farmer with a master's degree in agriculture, and his sister is a lawyer who specializes in farm law.
Right.
So
So they are in the same
We
field ostensibly in some ways, but
But
in
there are
different ways.
opportunities now to move out of that, is what I'm saying. So you're not so generationally, yes, up
Mhm.
until this point. And then my cousin, who's the same age as me, went to college. He's a very successful farmer, and he's very environmentally friendly. So it's kind of like, the new age of farming. And his sister is an agriculture lawyer. So you can move up in the United States now.
Hmm.
Right. But for as you said, that you can. But in a lot of cases, you do have this generational, and even looking at the way healthcare is in this country,
I'm going
it's
to add that they're white. If you're black, that's a different story.
There we
well,
go.
and that's just the thing, and that's not explicitly reflected in this episode because, again, much like all social commentary with Star Trek, it's set against the backdrop of science fiction and space stuff and the galaxy and blah 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 blah. And so, yeah, exactly right. So, I'm trying to remember, all the aliens don't look alike. They're different casts of aliens. So one of them has more goobers on their face, and they got like red weird modeling on their face, and the other one's just kind of look like white people with little dit dots on their face. I'm trying to remember because the three of us watched this episode together earlier this week. But much like happens when the three of us are together, we were just talking about their stuff and not really paying attention. But I had watched it not that long ago. And so, yeah, it was not really reflective of, the divide of racial inequality in America, which is vast. Obviously, we all know that. But and it was set against the backdrop of, the fact that it's a Star Trek episode, and in 3 minutes of this, or 45 minutes back in those days, they still find a way to absolutely turn everything around. But yeah, the episode kicks off. The Doctor, I just, and it's funny because I watched another episode, what the hell, we were talking about it afterwards. The one where it's the race in the future that encountered Voyager 700 years ago, and they stole the Doctor's backup module, and then they
Yeah.
recovered it. And it's this kind of, okay, it seems like it happens obviously those two times, but I feel like there are other episodes where the Doctor's program was kidnapped throughout the series, so that's like super easy to do. And I think that was one of our comments that, like, why don't they keep his his backup something or other, in a gun safe or something, or a lockbox or whatever. Janeway keeps it, in a thing under her desk or something.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
I said, like, why don't they have ADT security in the future?
Ooh, hey, you know what? We wouldn't be opposed to a sponsorship. ADT, you just got a shout out to our 25 something hundred listeners a week that we get. So
ADT, my Venmo is. I'm just kidding.
you bet. And I will definitely check our. I haven't checked in a couple weeks. I'm kind of curious where our viewership or viewer / listenership numbers are at. But anyway,
I serve no corporate overlord.
until you do. No, you don't want their money, Rich.
Except for Apple, I guess.
Oh, that's good. You know what, Rich? Or Aaron, that's great news. When we start to get some money, we don't have to give Rich any. He just said he did.
We absolutely do.
Oh, okay, fine. So what we're saying is we need Apple to come sponsor us. Oh, so yeah. So any other thoughts kind of moving through this episode? I mean, again, convenient resolution, but a lot of great social commentary and time in between.
Well, I also think maybe we should touch on, the Doctor figuring out that he needs to manipulate the system so that the allocator doesn't give less medication, which really made me think of the corruption of our pharmaceutical companies and what
God,
doctors
yes.
have to do to dance around it.
Right. What was that story in recent years? It was it was one dude who really manipulated a pill for epilepsy or whatever it is that, like,
Oh,
well,
that guy.
it used to cost $10 a dose, and now it's $10,000 or something
It
ridiculous.
was Martin.
He's
Yeah.
the same guy that bought the Wu-Tang album.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang came out with one album and he bid like $1 billion on it or something and got it. And
Martin
they're like,
Shkreli. Martin Shkreli.
that's
his
it,
name.
Martin Shkreli. And they're like, are you kidding me?
I'm trying to figure out how he could buy the only copy of an album. Like, there was one pressing of this album and he purchased it.
Yeah, they
So
only
it just
did one.
doesn't exist anymore. Well, first of all, great money-making scheme with unintended results, because this guy's obviously a scumbag. So you have $100, you have $100 $1 million in blood money. So Way to go, Wu-Tang.
He's in jail now, so
Okay, great. Well, you know what? They made their money and they're obviously fine with it.
and crying about it as well. So
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely delightful. So, anyway, other thoughts? I mean, obviously, good prevailed, or good was set up to prevail, and things that would happen after the fact. But
I mean, that's just indicative of the time frame of as far as like television and film or at least in television, everything's wrapped up in a bow by the end of the episode.
right, yeah,
That's just how they do it.
it's very sitcom-y. But I mean,
Mhm.
do you think it was well handled? Do you think there's anything they could have done differently?
I think it was handled very well. I think any episode with a doctor in it, I've got a soft spot for the doctor, so anything with
Totally.
him in it is going to be big on my list. So, I think it was fun to see him in the lead role again.
Right.
I do like that they made it a point to, like Erin was talking about the doctor. There was significant change, but I do like the way they did it. Like they gave the guy the disease, and then
Right.
give him
Right.
like they should do that more. Like real life, we should be doing that.
Most def. By the way, total sidebar and a plug for another podcast. I listened to on my long drives back and forth to Milwaukee, which is where I'm doing this training for my new job. I go every Friday and a Monday. I get a lot of podcasting listening in. The Investigates podcast, which is done by Gates McFadden, Dr. Crusher, just did a 2-part interview with Robert Picardo, and it's pretty fascinating. And what's nice about the show is that it has next to nothing to do with Star Trek. It's simply, and she's a fairly deft interviewer. I don't know if that means she writes her own questions. Maybe she's got a panel of people who are doing it for her, but I would recommend it. His story was kind of interesting. It had a couple of weird parallels to the life story of Brent Spiner. They both had a parent, either I think both of their cases, their fathers passed away young, and both of their fathers owned furniture stores.
Oh,
That's weird.
I thought that was super weird, but yeah, no, I would recommend it. Like I said, Investigates, Gates, I think it's Investa-Gates out there wherever podcasts are found. And Gates, if you want to send us a couple of bucks, we met a few years ago here at the Grand Rapids Comic Con, and I thought you were a very nice lady. She's also a Midwesterner. She's from Cleveland.
Better yet, just let's see if she'll come on the show.
Right. Okay. Who wants to tackle that? Erin? Erin,
you met her.
Me.
You
Ah,
met her. You said you met her at the Comic-Con.
I know,
yeah.
but
And
I know,
you're like, I'm a salesman, so sell it, baby.
Do it.
But I'd like delegating. Oh my God. Okay, fine.
You
All right.
do. So do I.
Any final thoughts before we move on to the news?
No, but on the news, I actually linked you guys with an article. I just now did it, so I apologize.
Okay.
It's the last minute.
No, that's okay.
And I think we should probably touch on that, but it's kind of related to the first article, so maybe I'll just slap it in between and go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see it in the flow. So anyway, all right, we'll start talking about the first article, and then we will work your part in. So Erin, since you are why don't you just go for it? Jump on in, start talking about the first article, please.
So it looks like on the centennial of Gene Roddenberry's birth comes word of a film project based on the great bird's life. So it looks like they're going to be making a film about his life. It says it's written by Adam Mazer, who did HBO's You Don't Know Jack, which I didn't watch. It's produced by a team that has Rod Roddenberry and his producing partner Trevor Roth. That's it. The rest is just fluff.
Gotcha. All right. Well, what about your what about this side link that you tossed in there then?
Gene Roddenberry's life's work to be digitized in massive preservation project.
Wow. Yeah. No, that sounds pretty. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. So yeah, tell us about it.
Well, they don't have too much information on it, but it says that it's going to house holographic and digital renderings of the USS Enterprise along with TV and film sets. So it looks like it's going to be pretty cool. I can't wait until I read a little bit more information about it because I think that this could potentially be like a really cool thing.
Definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, a kind of a crazy visionary. I don't know that his son Rod Roddenberry was ever really in the spotlight until about 5 years ago when Discovery came out, because I know he had some involvement in the franchise in the time in between. I don't know what he was doing with his life in that time.
He was in he was in a documentary that I saw that was pretty cool, and that kind of got him on my radar. And this was like 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But I guess he does a lot of charity through
That's
the Rod
awesome.
Roddenberry Foundation, and I mean a lot.
Well, I
That's
mean,
kind of what he does.
he's the son, obviously, of two of the most pivotal people in franchise history, the creator and Majel Barrett, who was a number of different roles and just he was the great bird, she was the great lady, first lady of Star Trek, whatever it is. She was awesome.
She's the computer voice.
Well, and she was, of course, Loxana Troy.
Yeah.
She was number one. She's just totally awesome.
She
So
is.
yeah, it does. No, it said Rod and his producing partner Trevor Roth share EP rights on all Star Trek universe projects, starting with Discovery. So so I think this is totally awesome. I have heard a lot of middling things about Gene Roddenberry over the years. He was kind of a product of his times. He was a little bit of a playboy back in the day when he was an aviator in World War II. He was a policeman in Los Angeles. He transitioned into being a writer, and then he was. If you've ever seen the HBO series California, or the Showtime series Californication, which I love and Erin doesn't like, he kind of reminds me of Hank Moody, the way that he's described in some of this stuff, that he kind of got around a little bit, but ultimately gave us work that we all really care about, regardless of
Yeah,
his
Rich just posted too the Nichelle Nichols conservatorship battle, which came out last week, but since we didn't record, we didn't get to touch on this.
Yes, Rich, go ahead, please.
Yeah, well, basically, what's going on is she's in the middle of this battle. She's suffering from dementia,
Right?
And it's basically
allegedly, though. Like, if you read the facts, there's no telling how bad it really is. And I just saw her in a documentary that was filmed not that long ago, where she seemed pretty lucid.
Right, totally. Yeah, the documentary that we all watched. Yeah.
So you're right. Yeah. So allegedly suffering from dementia, but she's basically her son, her either manager or her former manager, and a friend of hers are all kind of struggling for her fate. And I guess her son just sold her house.
Not cool.
And so that's kind of what raised the red flag. People are starting to get a little worried about her. It reminds me of the Stan Lee situation a little bit,
right?
When Stan was struggling in his last few years, and his manager was kind of soaking him and forcing him out on stage and that sort of stuff. I'm hoping that something like that's not happening here with Nichelle, but I just want to bring it up because it's important. She is an integral part of, as integral, I think, as Gene Roddenberry and Majel Barrett.
I totally agree. Yeah,
could be potentially being taken advantage of. So
exactly.
We need a free Nichelle Nichols movement.
Hell yes. Yeah. Well, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to do it. You know what? Who cares about free?
Put a hash brown on that and send it to the internet.
You know what? We don't care about Britney anymore. That shit got done. Now it's free Nichelle, free Uhura. Give it a hash brown. Exactly correct. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So moving on to the final story, unless there's any other thoughts.
I got to tell you, I wouldn't mind if somebody gave me a free hash brown.
You know what? We said that, and as we were talking, I moved, and my stomach started to grumble. I don't think it's an accident.
I'm want a free hash brown too.
I want it. Well, it's pushing lunchtime, and so yeah, totally. Well, it's past lunchtime. So anyway, because it's past lunchtime, we're gonna hit this last story. I am jazzed about this next bit because I have realized in rewatching Star Trek Voyager in the last several years, watched it all the way through with April, probably within the last 3 or 4 years, and it's her favorite series. Janeway's her favorite character, and while Riker has always been my dude on Voyager, Chakotay is my favorite character, and it looks like he is going to be making, it says, an appearance on Star Trek Prodigy, which it would be great if these friggin' jerks would give us a friggin' date when this friggin' show is going to come out, because they keep saying, oh, fall of 2021. Well, it's the end of August. Kids are going back to school.
What?
Did you say where? where are you? Where?
When will this happen?
When? Cool Whip. Oh wait, we're not going back to Family Guy. We're not.
Oh no, we're not. We're going straight to Chakotay because that's how Robert Beltran talks. He enunciates the crap out of every WH word.
Well,
we just watched him yesterday on the.
I know.
Was that one of the comments on the watch party last night?
Oh no, I said that before the watch party started, and then every time he started talking, I would say it right after the same way, and it was like, where?
Enunciate.
What?
Well, it was funny. Something I noticed, and this goes way back to when I watched the series for the first time with my ex-wife when it was on, is that early in the first season, they really tried to ethnicize up his name by calling him Chakotay. Chakotay.
Did you say ethnicize?
I do. I did. How I did. Give me a better word. They were like really trying to make it something. When it just became Chakotay. I don't know. How would you say it? I know I'm in trouble now, aren't I?
I might say ethnicize.
Yes. Okay. Fine. I was not close, but I was not that far off. I'm going to give myself that credit. Bing. Oh my gosh. So anyway, this is cool. I am really super not happy that we don't know when this damn show is coming out. But it says, Beltran was talking about this at the 55-year mission, which happened in Las Vegas last week, which I'm kind of bittersweet about. That is, while I'd love to go there, isn't it pretty widely known that Vegas is like the hotspot right now for COVID?
No, that's Alabama.
I'm not committing to anything. I'm not doing anything. I finally decided I was gonna try to go to Chicago, and then I changed my mind promptly, and I said, until they have masks required and you have to prove that you've been vaccinated, I don't want to go be with people.
On that regard, there was April and I, as you know, we ran our first con appearance for the chapter.
I
at
saw
a show last
all the
week.
photos, and I loved all the masks that I saw people wearing. It was great.
What I was gonna say in reference to that was one of the vendors was a leather worker who was making little COVID passports that you can wear on a chain, and I got one for each April and I. So when we do go out, it says, and they're Star Trek guys, so they say plague ship passport, and you could stuff your thing in there, and it says Star Trek or something or other. So I thought you would appreciate that. I should have had it because we're a visual medium. I should have had it to show you, so I apologize.
I thought you were going to say that he was making leather masks. So I was going to say, wow, that is not going to work, dude.
You don't think so?
No,
absolutely. They breathe so well. So anyway, back to the story. Yes, Beltran did.
April bought him a mask, by the way. It's all black. It covers his whole head, and it has a zipper right here.
Little zipper right there.
Anyway, you guys are. Oh my god!
Your next cosplay, Charlie, is the Gimp from Pulp Fiction.
Oh my god! But wearing a com badge, so it's a Star Trek cosplay. I did just get, and again, I don't have it to show. I just got today, or in the mail last night. I have the newest Star Trek Discovery one, the 32nd century all color with the little epaulets and stuff. And so I'm excited to.
Does it say "Pussy Wagon" on the back?
It's going to shortly, because I'm going to get that emboldened. So anyway, you guys make it really difficult to talk about this. So anyway, Beltran coming back. Do you think this is going to be a big thing? Is it going to be a guest shot? What do you think?
I think it's going to be a one and done.
Yeah,
it'll be one and done.
Probably. Well. But again, here's a guy that has had what I feel like zero association with Star Trek at all since that show ended. So
I don't think he particularly likes Star Trek, and maybe rightfully so. He probably thought it was offensive that they put a tattoo on his face and made.
Have you seen that meme going around? It says "tattoo on face, still got great job." He had the job when he got the tattoo, though. If you follow his history, he got that after his father died to honor him. So it's not like he came back to duty the next day. It's a tattoo on the face. You're out of here.
Wait, the actor got that tattoo on his face?
No, the character. Oh my god, you guys, this is just right off the rails. But no, the character did. There's a season, right. I want to say season 2 episode called Tattoo, where he has this blah blah blah, and he has these flashbacks about his dad, and ends up explaining why he had the tattoo. So
did he have any say in it? Did Robert Beltran have any say in like that?
That's a good question.
I think we should get matching tattoos
on our faces that just say Code 47. Code 47 across your forehead. No ragettes.
I serve no corporate overlord.
Yes, no corporate overlord. Okay.
Like right here.
Right here, like right here. Right.
Oh my gosh.
Like okay. No regrets guy.
Oh, yeah. Just right along your. Yeah, very good.
It's no regrets, but it's spelled wrong.
Exactly. All right. Well, with that magnanimous tip off, that's the end of the show. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to let Rich take us out.
I was going to pick Rich.
Good deal.
Really? Okay. All right. So for more information about Starfleet International in Michigan and beyond, wait, why are we still talking about Michigan?
Okay, I'm going to change that for next time. So
Please visit USS Grand Petoskey and the USS Nomad on Facebook.
Rich
And
and I don't care about Michigan.
I know, but the USS Grand Petoskey is based in Michigan, so that's kind of what that's going for. So
I wear
let's
gloves, Charlie, not mittens.
okay. Star Trek International, blah blah blah. I'm changing that for next time. Is that gonna make you happy?
We'll
Okay,
just say,
please
the US
visit.
and beyond, North
Please
America and
visit.
beyond.
Please visit our chapters. Exactly.
We mean like we hate Michigan.
Oh, so rude. All right. Well, with that, the show is over. Friends, as always, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring and to keep on trekking. My shirt.
Kapla.
Live long and prosper, I guess.
Hey, Lexi, do you want to say goodbye? Just say a real quick goodbye. Say like bye-bye or something.
Bye.
Code 47 is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for our great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, or the podcast platform of your choice. If you would like to be part of the conversation, visit our new Discord server, or join us on Facebook, or follow us at Secret Friends U on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends on YouTube, and don't forget to visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.